Hello, welcome back to my personal audio visual journal of LAMDA. I'm trying to figure out what to do for a little intro. I'll figure out something. So this is all about Friday, September 12th. I check my notes. It's Sunday when I'm recording this, and so I need to make sure I was on top of it. Okay. So, Friday was great. We only had a few things. Well, we had like one real class, an introductory kind of meeting, and then a scavenger hunt. Ooh, my eyes look so green with this shirt on. Anyway, so our first class of the day was ensemble, and it's all about being an ensemble together, especially in movement. We have 3 teachers who are leading out on that. There's Eri, who's from Puerto Rico. His whole name is Heriberto, but he goes by Eri. It was really confusing. We were doing like name games and stuff, and some people heard Harry, other people heard Eric. I thought I heard Eric at first, but I was like, I don't think he's saying Eric. And then we found out it was Eri, A-R-I. Eri? Eric. Eri. I think it's Eri. Heriberto. Eri. Yeah, I'm gonna go Eri, not Eri. Anyway, he's our instructor. He's from Puerto Rico. Also, there's Nicoletta. Nicoletta is from Italy, for those less cultured. She's from Roma, which is fun because Alessandro, one of our classmates, is also sort of from Rome, for you folks in the back. So, and then we were with Micaela again. Micaela, I figured out today her name, like how she pronounced it. So she is from Portugal, and so I asked her about the pronunciation, because so many people, I heard her say just Michaela, but it's Micaela. Did I say I might have said Micaela, but it's Micaela, and a lot of people just call her Michaela. But I asked her, I was like, I hear your name when you say it, it's different than Michaela. And she's like, she just says, I wouldn't anglicize my name. You know, I'm not offended when other people call me Michaela, but I'd never anglicize it myself. So it's Micaela, Micaela. Emphasis on the penultimate syllable, the E, Micaela, Ela. Anyway, names are important. So I got all my classmates. We got a new one today. Surprise, his name's Mohammed. I haven't learned a ton about him. I think he's Jordan, Palestine. I know he's Palestinian in part. So fascinated to get to know him. He came in from Qatar, I think. Qatar. I know they say it differently. Whenever I'm pronouncing something that's not English, anglicized, I always go like it with a Spanish pronunciation, Qatar, but that's not right. I think it's Qatar. Anyway, that's where he flew in from, and it was the whole thing, but he got here first day on Friday. So chill. So we started out kind of just, we got in a circle, because that's, circles is what makes, that is not a heart. Sorry, I'm filming this on, what is it, QuickTime Player, because I'm real classy and I know what I'm doing. But it thought that was a heart. It'll do the thumbs up. Will it do something for this? Celebrate good times, come on. Anyway, I just walked home in the rain. So that was fun. I changed them so a little damp. You can't tell. Anyway, I'm really going to ramble this this episode, I don't even know what to call this video. So, Jado, forgive me. What am I kidding? He's probably not watching. Double speed. I think it'd be like right around here. Go in there, click that, double speed it. Don't even look at me. I'm not doing anything important. Or don't listen at all. All is well. I got 3 views on my first video. First one I posted. Got a comment from my wife. She thinks I'm cute. So we got in a circle, right? That's where I left off. And we started out, he just wanted to get everyone's individual name. And he's a very physical person, right? He's movement based. And so every time he would, don't mind my wet clothes drying. That's my little drying rack. And then those are my pants that are drying. And there's my shirt from today. So he's like, what's your name? And then we said, I'm Zion. Welcome, Zion. He did that every time. And it just felt including and I don't know, it was nice. I liked it. And then he did that with every single person. He did point out, he was like, I heard there is somebody here from Puerto Rico. But I can't do his accent right because he's lived in the UK for I think like 20 years now. And so he's like, it's like a British Hispanic. It's really cool. It's like, you have to go over there. And it is very important. I don't know. It's fun though. I'll listen to him more. I'll see if I can figure it out. But he talked to Tia, man, it's a day. Mia and Felipe, who are both Puerto Ricans, which he was really excited about because he is Puerto Rican too, and that's rad. And then I learned that Sophia, sorry, there's some gunk on my table. Anyway. Sophia, they are Argentine. Yeah, so they spoke a little Spanish too, and I was like, sick. So many Spanish speakers. I need to practice mi español. And then, yeah. So met everybody, talked to the Puerto Ricans, and then we just started walking around. Did I? Maybe we walked around after names. No, I think we did we went over people's names first. And then we were just walking. He's like, let's move in the space. Let's cross the space. He's like, let's walk around. And he's like, you're all classical actors. You're so serious. He's like, you have to walk like it's the most important thing ever. And then we were walking, and then he was like, oh, how about we walk with joy, and we skip and we move, and we started moving. And then I think it was Michaela who said, let's try pulling faces. Let's like a Shakespearean actor would do, right? You come in and we'll turn around and you go, wah, and you'll pull a face. And we're just like doing big movements, just getting comfortable in our bodies and being over the top, just being expressive, right? Extending our lips and taking up our space or whatever, right? So that was cool. And then we also said where we were from as he was going around. It's like, what's your name? Where are you from? I was like, I did my whole spiel, right? I was born in New York City, not raised. Lived in Virginia, Kentucky, Boston, Georgia, Guatemala for a little bit. I don't know if I mentioned that. 2 years. And then back to Georgia, Idaho for school, Utah last 4 years. I usually say I'm from back east, but people know back east now, so it's not like annoying or anything. I just say it a lot. Anyway, so then we started this thing where someone would begin, and then they would make eye contact with someone across from the circle. They would cross the space with movement, and they would say their name. So it's like, I'm crossing Zion, and then maybe I look at David, and then David looks at someone and he picks someone and he walks and he says David, and then so on. And we went through everyone so that we heard everyone's names again. So it was really helpful for the people who hadn't learned people's names yet. Then we switched it and made it a little harder. And then when we looked at someone, we said their name. And then we would do it multiple times. The first time we would do it just like quickly. And he's like, and if you feel uncomfortable, if you don't know what somebody is doing, just like move that body. If you're like, oh, what's your name? Right? Just like express that physically, which is fun. And so we're like, oh, remind me your name, right? Poor Muhammad, because it was literally his first day, his first class. He was just like, ooh, I couldn't remember. Well, he didn't know. He hadn't met anybody yet. So he got a couple names and did pretty well. And it was fun, and we learned about failure, and that was good. And then, so the first round is we were just taking it a little slow, and then the second round, we would do it quickly. We'd be like, Zion, David, Mia, Felipe, whomever. And the idea is to cross the space, not like meander or go, but just like go with direction and purpose. And then we did, so after we said our names, then we said their names slowly and then quickly. And then we had the person, we said the name of the person who chose us. This one was a little complicated. So whoever started just started and made eye contact and switched. And then that person moving said the person who just took their space. So like say I was taking Ashley's space. I would walk in and I'd say, no, Ashley took my space. So she's walking, she makes eye contact. She says the name of whoever picked her. I don't know, maybe it's Hannah. So Ashley, Hannah, she takes my place. And then I go, Ashley. And so that way you're just saying the names a lot and you're doing it in a different way. And then we did it slow and then we did it quick. And then we had to like get permission from them, right? And it was that communication. Sorry. I don't like looking at the correct version of myself because I will touch my hair and then I'll be like, unimportant. Who is that, booger? That's cute. Fun fact. I always get little boogers. Pardon me. And so, how funny would it be if I just had a booger this whole video, and it was just right there the whole time, and everyone was looking at it. That so happened to me. Got him. Anyway, so then, yeah, we had this opportunity to get permission from them. And so we tried doing this, and then we asked, or we'd just make eye contact. Oh, yeah, we would literally ask. We'd be like, Sarah. And she'd be like, no. And then you have to say thank you because they don't want to right now, and that's totally fine. And you had the opportunity, you said no. Right? This whole profession is filled with rejection and stuff, and we need to be grateful for our opportunities. So it's like, thank you. David. No. Chandler. Yes. Then you'd switch. And then the other person can't go yet until they get the consent and the permission of the next person. So that was fun. And then we took out the words and it was all physicality and vocalization. But it was like, It's like, No. It was like the next person, you know. I was like, We just like gibberish. We do delightfully odd things that, like, if anybody walked in to a rehearsal, it'd be like, ugh. So that was really fun. And then we had permission, then did it non-verbally, but with our whole body. And then next we entered the space when we asked for it. We were like, we still had to thank them, right? So it's like, thank you. Like however it was that we did it. And then we walked. After we did that, we really got the names and had that experience and learned a little bit more about like consent as actors. because we want people to feel comfortable. We don't want to push discomfort. But sometimes there's the uncomfort of doing something new. And that's why they don't just say that this is a safe place. They say this is a brave space, which is cool because discomfort isn't wrong. Sometimes we're uncomfortable because it's something new or we're not prepared or something else. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't try or shouldn't experience that. So then we walked around and tried to feel like a whole ensemble. And this was hard. The first thing we did, we'll get to that. So first we just looked at each other, just walked around, tried not to just walk in a circle or a straight line, but just walked and intermoved and took each other in and kind of acknowledged each other's. And I'm such a smiley, likey person, so I'm just like, so I don't know if that was not the point, but it's hard for me to like make eye contact with someone and not smile at them, especially if I care about them. And I like all the people in my cohort, so it was just like, but then after like taking each other in, then they're like, add a wink, do it a little more interesting, like add something. So then we walked around like winking at each other. And they're like, put your whole body into it. It's like, and then, and the vocalization came with that. And then we tried to build it up as much as possible and really emphasize that playing, and having fun. And pushing it to the extreme to see how big and how committed we can get to these ridiculous ideas. And then we walked again, and we tried to stop at the same time. And there's no communication, but he said that the secret is to breathe together. And I've heard of like drama activities like this, especially with the mirroring, like where you try to mirror each other. And then the other person starts and slowly you like are just so in sync you don't know who's starting what. And I haven't had that experience, but looks like within this year I might. But we tried to stop together and he said we sucked. He was like, that was really bad. He's like, I'm not here to sugarcoat and say, hey, good try, He was like, yeah, that was bad, but we have a year to figure it out. And then we tried to start at the same time. And he's like, the key is in breathing together. And so we were walking at the same pace. Dum, 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 dum. And then we stopped pretty good at the same point. He said we got an 80% about. So that was fun. And he said it was all just connected to this breath, and it was. He said we have ways to go. So it was good. It was fun. It was really fun to play and move. And then Nicoleta, then we took a little break. I wrote this all down because I'm telling you, if I don't write it down, I don't learn anything. I won't stick and I won't be able to do this, which this is important to me. And I know some people are interested. Thanks, Mom and Emma. Theo, soon to be. But so then after our break, Nicoleta broke us up into groups of 9 by numbering us off. Wait. Yeah, so numbers is off like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're all in a circle and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. Right? Nice, easy way to group people up. And since there were 45 of us that day, because Kate is still not feeling well, which is a bummer. Hopefully she's feeling better tomorrow. I should check in on her. But then she asked us 3 questions, and we wrote down our thoughts on them. And so the first question is, what does it mean to be part of an ensemble? So what does it mean to be part of an ensemble? Second, what do I need to do or be to be brave in the space? What do I need to do to be brave in the space or be? Third, how does consent play a role in an ensemble? Right? Where is this permission and this agreement? How does that play in the ensemble? And then we had 10 minutes to discuss, and we talked about ideas of safety and support and how consent plays a role, because if we, like, for instance, I'm married, and if we were doing a scene that was romantic and we hadn't talked about it or anything, and a scene member kissed me, like a scene partner, that could have been against my boundaries and uncomfortable for me. And so to not push it to there without getting that permission, checking if people are okay, not to mention if people have had traumatic experiences in the past, consent is super important to be able to be understood as a whole in a group. Then everybody wrote down 6 words, and we made a little cloud. So we just taped them all on the wall. Then each group, we went back to our 5 groups of 9, and we chose 3 words to make a physical sequence out of. And the words that we chose were try, support, and heart. So for try, we broke up into 3 threes, and we were all reaching and trying to get something, but we couldn't do it ourselves, and it wasn't working. And so then we had a kind of nonverbal idea, let's work together. And so I got on a knee on one side, and Ramsden got on a knee on the other side. Let me even remember if everyone was there. Then Sarah stood up on her side, and then I'm forgetting who was in my group. See, I should have wrote it down. And James was in our group, and Nina was in our group. Nina was supporting me, and Jackson was supporting in the front. And was it Tilly? I think it might have been Tilly. Could have been Hannah too. No, it was Mia, because Mia wrote it all down. Mia was there. Mia started in our group. It was Mia, Nino, and I. This is unimportant, but Mia, Nina, I, James, Sarah, Jackson, Liv, Ramsden. I'm missing one person. That makes me feel even worse. I think it was Tilly. Yeah, I think Tilly was in our group. I don't know. I talked to Tilly a lot on Friday. Anyway, I think that was our 9. I'm going to remember later and be like, oh no, I can't believe I forgot. Anyway, so then we created the support, and Sarah was able to reach up. And then we all collapsed into each other, and we were intertwined, and then we made this heartbeat that... It's cool. I liked it. Some of the presentations were really cool, just inspiring, about like somebody being cast out and then brought back in, and beautiful just sound, and no one really spoke much. There was play involved, and it was really cool. I was just like, oh, this beautiful little creations that we're doing. One of the things I was worried about was creating, and I thought we did a pretty good job at it. Then Nicoletta reminded us to cherish these experiences, and the difficulties are worth it. And Micaela reminded us to take care of yourself, each other, and the space. I think that might have been actually Eri. And our energy, and he was like, your energy is just so beautiful. It's just so interesting and so good. He's like, this is going to be a really good group of people. And I agree. Then we went to the Sainsbury Theater, which is the bigger theater at LAMDA. There's a little one on the west end, and then on the east end of the school, there's the bigger one, which is Sainsbury. And we did an introduction to Mishmash, which is a festival that's run by a LAMDA alumnus called Emily Carew, I think is how she pronounces it. It's Carewe, Carew. And she was a student in 2015 and 17, and she now is very involved in 503 Theater, which only features debut playwrights. And Mishmatch is this opportunity for a lot of people to just go and experience and test out something that they're working on. So it's primarily for alumni, but it's all the alumni are paid London living wages. For the students, there's workshops that we can go and we can practice things. And she says it's about how to produce your own stuff, how to dramaturg your own things, how to get things going and started. The workshops are in October and November, Tuesday at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then you have to sign up, and there's 30 spots. But if you show up, it's basically going to work out. And then I want to get involved. Their waiting list. All the first-year students were here together. And then it's going to be cool. And I'll let you know more about that as I know more about that and the workshops start coming. Then we had a scavenger hunt. And they said in the scavenger hunt, try to be with people you don't know. Like people who aren't just people that you've talked to a lot. And so I was like, okay. So I tried to get in a group, and there were some D's in that group. And I was like, meh, let's not. They had too many. We were supposed to have 6. I think was the supposed limit. And then there was more. So I was like, I'll find another group. Then I went to another one, and they had too many. So I went to a third group, and the third group I ended up with were all PTAS, which are the tech students. And so they were just itty bitties right out of high school kind of people, like 18 and younger. If I get really good at this one day, I'll start post. Wait, that's them. Oop, stop. You got Manon, Gray, forgetting her name. Dang it. And Seo Young. But I can't remember her name. Anne or something? No, I know that's not right. Anyway, the idea was we got this long piece of paper. There was like 8 photos that we needed to take. One was find a picture with 3 cranes in one picture, a bowl of fresh chilies, a cat. This one was, I could just go through the pictures. This isn't going to be the order, but this is the order we took them. One of your group members with a pigeon, a picture of a squirrel. Oh, what color are these baskets? That wasn't a picture, but that was one of the questions. Your whole group in front of a telephone box, a cat, a group holding a holly leaf, a bowl of fresh red chilies, a labubu, 3 cranes in one picture. We got extra points because we got the actual bowl of chilies that they were looking for that was in this market. A superhero towel, a movie poster. And so the idea was it was supposed to get us connected to the area around Hammersmith where the school is. So it just led us on this trip. It's like, walk this direction, then turn right. And then how much would your change be if you bought this cheesecake from this cafe and you spent £5 on it? Or what is the name of the scaffolding company? Or what's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? And it was really fun and really cool. I walk faster than all these kids because, I walk a lot. I walk to school and I walk all the time. And so by the end, they were kind of dragging behind. I was like, let's go. Because if you win a bottle of wine and a drawstring bag full of merch. Of course, I wouldn't take the bottle of wine. Don't drink. But they said there were alternatives for those who didn't drink. I just would have to pick out what it is. And then, yeah, so by the time it was like the last one, Manon was keeping up with me for the most of it. Manon. Yeah, Manon. She's French. But then Gray was keeping up with me at the end, but she was like, let's wait to the corner for these people. I was like, I want to win. And they're like, do you need to have the whole group there to win? And then I was like, no, like to turn in the paper. So I left and I ran a little bit. I was like, and I ran, I got all sweaty. It was great. It started raining a few times too, which is just fun. And then, yeah, I turned it in and it was good. I don't think we'll win, at least not the fastest, because I heard about some groups who split up and then started texting each other the answers and things and finished it in like an hour and a half. And I think we were definitely closer to 2 hours. But it was fun. And then afterwards, we just hung out for a little bit because the school paid for a bar tab. So at the distillers, we all went and they had like 1,300 pounds or something on the tab, and everyone could get a drink. I realize now that I could have got like something, like a lemonade. But I'm also not drinking soda this year for just my New Year's resolution. So I was like, what would I drink anyway? It was also late, so soda would have just kept me up. But I hung out there a lot, and it was super fun just getting to know people, talking about each other and ourselves. And then I walked home, and it was rad. It was a good day. Anyway, this video is 30 minutes. Sorry about that. So I will submit that, and it'll be lovely. Anyway, I want to say like a fun sign out or something. I'll figure it out. That's a day in the life of a LAMDA student. Oh, wait. Bye.